In these Bootstrap Farmer trays on my grow shelf here, I'm growing a number of things. I'm growing microgreens that I grow year round, but also at this time of year, I'm starting new plants from seed each week to get ready for the spring growing season. So I also have in here tomato starts, cucumber starts, and as crazy as it sounds, I even have some corn that we have started as well. And they'll be going in various places on the farmstead, the greenhouse and other areas, but some of the areas I don't even have ready yet. Oh, and that sound that you hear back there, I also have a chick that has hatched. Believe it or not, this right here is a game changer for growing more food in a garden. A number of years ago, I was on this quest to learn how to be a successful market gardener. I visited numerous farms, attended mastermind classes, online courses, and more. And I've learned from a number of different successful farmers. And one of the hacks, the garden hacks, that all of them use is this right here. For some time now, I've tarped my garden spaces with recycled billboard signs. And that is a cost-effective way to tarp your beds. However, I have found out that they can be really heavy and difficult to use and move around. And on top of that, they have paint on them that I don't feel comfortable using in my garden anymore. And they've gotten pretty beat up. So I recently decided it's time to get rid of them all. Yeah, these are just worn out. Got holes all in them. After a number of years of putting them to use. You're there, yeah. I've forgotten some of these old billboards were from the Love's gas station. Some of them have worked better than others. Some of them are made of this harder material that is just harder to move around. And some of the others are made out of a thinner material that is so much easier to work with and fold. But either way, they all have served their purpose and got us through the cheaper, leaner times that we had. And on top of all that, they've gotten pretty beat up. So I recently decided it's time to get rid of them all. So I decided to upgrade to this style of tarp here, which I got from the same place that we get our seed trays, Bootstrap Farmer. But before I put my tarp on this bed right here, there's something else that I gotta do first. I want to water the entire bed here. Alrighty, so watering our bed here adds moisture to the soil. And why would I do that, you may ask? Well, that will help the weed seeds that are here, help them to germinate. Like, that sounds crazy too. Well, it'll help them to germinate, but while they're covered with the tarp, once they sprout and start to grow, they won't have the light that they need to really grow. So that tarp will smother them out and they'll just die. So it'll kill those weed seeds, and it will also kill any of the vegetation that is already sprouted up here. It'll kill that. So that's a benefit of silage tarp, is it will help to reduce and prevent weeds from growing. In addition to that, it helps to preserve the nutrients in the soil during the times that I'm not growing produce here, as well as it helps to prep the soil for when it comes time to plant. We'll remove the tarp and that soil will be ready, weed-free, and ready to grow garden produce. Before we add our tarp on here, let's add a little bit of organic matter, because you can never have too much organic matter, right? Yeah. Many of the market gardeners that I know will flail mow their garden spaces before they tarp them to mow down stuff like this. But if you have a smaller garden space, you can use a push mower or even a weed eater to get rid of those plants. But one of the things that I like to do, since I'm into sustainable farming and integrating systems together, is during the colder months, I'll bring my chickens in chicken tractors through our garden spaces to fertilize them, and also to act as our flail mowers, our chicken flail mowers, to get rid of old garden residue. They'll eat it up, scratch it up, and add manure at the same time to fertilize my garden spaces. And while they're in those tractors, I'll also use resources right here from the property, like leaves and grass clippings, to go in there as a bedding for them. But it also adds organic matter to our garden spaces as well. For weighing down our tarps, we're going to recycle some old chicken feed bags here. Now, these won't hold up long, so I hope to order some heavy-duty sandbags from Bootstrap Farmer really soon. Then once those arrive, we'll just stick these bags with sand right inside those heavy-duty bags. Good job, guys. Here we go. In the past, I've weighed my tarps down with cinder block. However, with their sharp edges, I'm not a huge fan of those because they will cause some wear and tear to happen on your tarp, which will make your tarp not last as long. So I generally like to use sandbags with sand in them. You can fill them with other things like gravel, and I've also used big, large rocks to hold the tarp down, which works too if they don't have jagged edges, but these work really well and they're easier to move around.
Oh, I see. You say you're fine, but I can't see right through. You're holding your secrets for way too long. This can't keep going on. With every lie, they keep on hurting you, getting away with everything they do. This can't keep going on. No, we're gonna find them. We'll be running with the lions.
first the wind's starting to blow. I seem to have a knack for that. Each time that I'm trying to do something with tarps, plastic, the wind just seems to blow. Oh well. All right. White side down, black side up. We're gonna leave enough room. Overlap. Hey, go ahead. Oh man. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So when I originally ordered this tarp, I measured with the thought of using this tarp, cutting it to fit 2 beds. So let's see if we can do that. All right, so Josiah, go ahead and head down on the other end there and grab that edge, and we're gonna fold it on over.
Yes, sir.
Climb up there and hand me that edge.
Leave those.
We have a sail going on here. Hope we don't blow away like Mary Poppins or anything. Nope.
There's a funnel.
Think about jumping in there. Don't do it. Oh, don't blow away. Come on, pull on over.
Oh, he got a huge sail.
All right. There we go. Right there.
See how big it was?
I did see that. All right, go ahead and pull it on over now.
Come on, Wing.
Yep. There you go. Go ahead and put that sandbag down. Yep, then the next one. Yep, line it up. There you go. There we go. Alright. Looks like it so happens that there happens to be a tree right where we need it to be. Excellent. Need to go put some sandbags every 5 feet on the black. We definitely should have checked the forecast for today. Definitely recommend doing it when the wind is calm. All right, so next what we're doing is we're spacing out our sandbags every 5 feet. Oh, that was not 5 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, it doesn't have to be exact, but just close enough. The goal is to add enough sandbags on here so that the wind doesn't cause it to blow away. So, tarping that bed took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take. Primarily because we had to replace our old sandbags from last year that were just falling apart. But after tarping that bed, we moved our chicken tractors, our flail mowers, out of the next bed that we were going to tarp. And we moved those chickens onto our first fresh grass of the year. And we also moved out a chicken tractor full of ducks too. And that second bed is a somewhat newer bed, and last year the weeds kind of got out of hand in that bed. So after moving those tractors out of that bed, I could see that there were some pretty sturdy stems that had been left over from some of the weeds that were in this bed, and that I wasn't going to be tarping this bed right away. But thankfully, some hours later, a bunch of rain came through. And when we came back to working on this bed, pulling up those stems was so much easier because the rain softened up the soil for us. Pull them out. They should come out easy from the rain. The rain helped loosen the ground, and these are coming out real easy. Yep. Real easy. And also, while we were pulling up those stems, I had Hezekiah on my back. He's like a year old now, and he's 20 plus some pounds. He may be like 25 or so. I'm not sure, but having him on my back, squatting down to pull up those stems, I was getting a good little workout there. And that's one of the things to keep in mind. While you're doing some of the things that you're doing, just be intentional about including some exercise, and it can provide you with some benefit. And also, you're getting something done at the same time. And after getting all those stems out, we finally were able to tarp this next bed. Got one corner. Of course, there's the wind again. Corner. Pull it on over. Come on, pull it. And I'm going to leave those tarps on those beds for at least 3 weeks. This will reduce the weed pressure from whatever weeds are there, as well as weed seeds that will come up, be light deprived, and just die. As well as it's going to help prep the soil, soften the soil for when it comes time to put my transplants in those spaces. Man, I look forward to those plants. Oh, and I also want to mention that you can also use these tarps as a blackout method for germinating seeds. If you have an idea and you know how many days it takes for a seed to germinate depending on the variety, you can use those tarps to germinate seeds because it helps to keep the moisture and humidity in there in the right environment. And then when it's time to pull that tarp off, you'll have your plants ready to grow right there with increased germination with using the tarp. Do any of you use tarps for your gardening spaces? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it.